So today we're in Monteverde with Lindsay Stelcup to talk more about the Children's Eternal Rainforest. It is the largest private reserve we have in Costa Rica and represents one of the most important protected areas. It is managed by the Association of Conservationists from Monteverde and is a really beautiful example of what collaborative conservation thinking can achieve. We will talk a little bit more about its objectives, about its funding history, and provide many more insights from our partner project. So Lindsay, thank you very much for having us today. Can you please describe a little bit about your person and how you're involved with the Children's Eternal Rainforest?
So my name is Lindsay Stelcup and I'm the Executive Director of the Monteverde Conservation League, which is the Costa Rican nonprofit organization that owns and takes care of the Children's Eternal Rainforest. The Children's Eternal Rainforest got its start in the 1980s, thanks in large part to children and their grown-ups from around the world. The deforestation crisis in Costa Rica and in the Monteverde area specifically sparked the interest of people all over the world. And specifically, the organization was started by a group of neighbors here in Monteverde who helped to raise awareness and raise funds for land purchase. And then the spark for fundraising by kids got started in Sweden in 1987 by a group of elementary school students who heard about the deforestation problem in the rainforest and wanted to do their part to raise some money to help save the forest. That movement quickly grew to include children all over the world. And so today, the Children's Eternal Rainforest is about 22,600 hectares, and that is thanks to the help of kids and adults and organizations in 44 countries around the world.
Okay, it's a really beautiful and impressive story to tell about such a big reserve. Can you elaborate a little bit more about what the Conservation League is doing? Who are the members and what are your objectives?
So the Children's Eternal Rainforest, as Costa Rica's largest private reserve, is the main project of the Monteverde Conservation League today. And so we have different ways that we go about protecting the forest and its biodiversity and all of the ecosystem services that the forest provides: oxygen, water, carbon uptake, erosion prevention, scenic beauty. We have people who work directly in forest protection, our forest rangers. We have people who work in environmental education in the communities surrounding the Children's Eternal Rainforest. And then we also have people who work in education in another way, helping the visitors who come to see the Children's Eternal Rainforest understand the importance of the forest, not only for this region and for Costa Rica, but for the world.
So what would you say, what opportunities exist for people that want to engage in your work or just want to visit this place? How can you support your mission?
Absolutely. I think one thing that sets this reserve apart from a lot of other tourist attractions in Costa Rica is that we are a nonprofit, and 100% of the money that we receive goes directly back into protecting the Children's Eternal Rainforest. And so that means that anyone who visits us is supporting the conservation of this forest just with their visit. So it's a really great way to have an amazing rainforest experience and also to be able to support the forest with your visit. A main part of our visitation is from student groups. Those could be high school, university, elementary school groups from within Costa Rica, but also from many countries around the world. Studying abroad in Costa Rica is a fantastic experience, and coming here to the Children's Eternal Rainforest is a way to really immerse yourself in the local environment, in the ecosystem, and learn firsthand about this special forest while also helping to support its protection with your visit.
Yeah. So with almost 23,000 hectares, it's really a huge area. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit about the difference between the different parts of the Children's Eternal Rainforest? So right now, where are we, for example?
Okay, so right now we are in the Bajo del Tigre Reserve, which is in Monteverde, and it is representative of this Pacific slope forest, which is actually different from the cloud forest, which is about 2 kilometers away as the toucan flies. But we're in a completely different environment. You can see it's not cloudy, it's a little bit dry, it's very windy. And so this is one of the things that makes this area so special, is that you can travel a short distance and see a completely different ecosystem. And so the amount of biodiversity that any visitor can see is huge, because in the morning you could visit the Monteverde Reserve, which is our neighbor, and then in the afternoon you could visit us here and see a whole different host of plants and birds and wildlife. The Children's Eternal Rainforest at about 23,000 hectares is the largest private reserve in the country, but one of the things that makes it so special is that it's the centerpiece of a larger block of protected areas. So in total, we're actually talking about 50,000 hectares of protected area on both sides of the Continental Divide. So right now we're on the Pacific slope, but we also have area all the way up to the highest part of the Continental Divide and down the Caribbean slope. And so that altitudinal gradient means that we have a huge diversity of habitats and the species that live in them. And it also makes this reserve really important in the face of climate change and climate resilience, and also for protecting water resources. For example, the Children's Eternal Rainforest provides water resources for people to drink, for agriculture, for hydropower, for wildlife, and so on. So the Children's Eternal Rainforest has 4 places that are open to the public. Most of the reserve is in conservation, but we have 4 visitor centers, 2 of which are biological stations, which is where many student groups visit us and have an opportunity to be immersed in the forest. We provide lodging and meals and trails, so it's really an off the beaten path experience and a chance to see the rainforest ecosystem up close. We also have 2 areas like Bajo del Tigre, where we are today, and another place called Finca Steyer, which have trails that are open to people to visit during the day and occasionally for night hike.
Well, thank you very much for the many insights. Are there any words that you would like to send out to the people that are watching this video?
So we invite you to visit the Children's Eternal Rainforest, Costa Rica's largest private reserve, which has been made possible, was purchased and protected by children and adults from around the world. And everyone who is considering visiting Costa Rica should know that your visit to the Children's Eternal Rainforest directly supports the conservation of this forest and also research and environmental education, so that it will continue to be protected in perpetuity.